Welcome to the Boss Builder Podcast.
Well, hello, friends, and welcome to the actual final episode of Boss Builder Podcast. So we started the podcast in 2018. The purpose was to reach out and assist the newly promoted supervisor, those who were in the role and struggling, and those who were even thinking about one day becoming a manager. We had a ton of great guests on it, including two of the guests I really wanted to have, Greg Nelson and Keppel Broth. We've had mixed martial arts fighters. I've had consultants, trainers, teachers, coaches, all sorts of individuals. Well, I guess it was about a year or so into Boss Builder Podcast, we started looking at the audience that takes our programs. Of course, this is management training, and we realized too that for most people, they don't send themselves to management training, they actually get sent. And so with the idea of making money, which of course that's how we stay alive here, we decided we would start a second podcast, which is HR Oxygen. That was aimed toward the overworked, overstressed, and underappreciated HR professional. Well, we were running two, and then sometimes episodes would go into both of those podcasts. Well, as time went on, we started to see the listenership move higher for HR Oxygen than we had for Boss Builder Podcast. At the same time, business started picking up post-COVID, and we made the really tough decision that we were going to go ahead and just end Boss Builder Podcast and move everything over to HR Oxygen. And so that's why I'm making this episode. I wanted to have a final closing episode so that while this podcast was still available on podcast apps, that people would just figure, okay, he ended it rather than just abandon it. That's what we didn't want to have happen. So all that to say, we appreciate all of you who've listened to us over the years, and we would invite you to join us. Now, again, the new station is not new. It's been around almost as long as Boss Builder Podcast. Yes, the focus is on HR professionals, but as managers, you'll need to know things from their perspective too. And you'll find the topics are going to be somewhat similar. We've got the same kind of array of guests, but we try to be a little bit more inspirational as well as educational. So best way to reach us, of course, is to subscribe to HR Oxygen on any podcast app. And of course, you can always go to hroxygen.com. Boss Builder Podcast will stay viable until my contract with Podbean runs out, and then, of course, they'll probably dismantle it. I'll set the domain to forward to HR Oxygen, and we hope to see you on our sister and now sole podcast, HR Oxygen. Thank you so much for the support, and we look forward to seeing you on our other channel very soon.